hopefully started. Yeah. Yeah. Hello dear friends, welcome back to MACSGATE. So we are learning Python programming. Under Python programming, we already started with control flow statements. In the previous session, we completed selection statement. In this session, we learn iterative statements. Before that, let me ask you one question. Write down a program for multiplication table. That is multiplication table of 5 here. I want, program for multiplication table of 5. So you can do this like, multiplication table of 5 means I can use f string. So what all you need to print, sir? 5 into 1 is equal to, I want to print the product of 5 and 1. So within this, braces, whatever you write, that expression will be evaluated and that is printed. You want, you can just check this, sir. What is the output for this? So 5 ones, 5. Now if you want 5 twos, copy paste this, and this time you want 5 twos is equal to 5 into 2. So you can continue like this. So the same print statement I need to write 10 times to get the entire multiplication table of 5. Maybe I need to do like, 5 into 3 is equal to the product, the expression 5 into 3. So like that I am going to get the answer. Suppose you want some spaces, then you just need to write some spaces here. That is all formatting, my dear friends. So I am not much worried about formatting here. We are mainly interested in the output. Okay. So formatting you can take care, because we already have one video on this formatting input and output, mainly output. Okay. So you can just go through that. Clear? So instead of doing it, many times, instead of printing this many times, if you can iterate over, and instead of using this 1, 2, 3, you can use a loop control variable. And if you can iterate over the same printf statement many times, you will be writing a small code, but you will be getting the same output as you expected. So that is the agenda, my dear friends. And iterative statements mainly do that. Is that clear? Any doubts? See, if you have any doubts, you can ask me, my dear friends. Yeah. So now let us start with iterative statements. So what are these iterative statements, sir? Iterative or repetitive control structures or repetitive control statements are used to repeat certain statements within a loop for a fixed number of times or until a certain condition is reached. So here I use two terms. You want to repeat a loop for a fixed number of times or until a certain condition is reached. See, in other programming languages, we have this for loop, while loop and do while loop also. Actually, you can use both the loops interchangeably. But in Python, we are having loops for specific purpose. Okay, Python support two types of the looping or iterational constructs. One is for loop, which is mainly used for fixed looping construct, whereas while loop is used for variable looping construct. That is based on the condition you want to iterate. That is, as long as the condition is true, you can repeat that particular loop, sir. So for that, mainly we are going to use while loop. Such loops are called, general purpose loops. But in Python, for loop is not used for general purpose, my dear friends. Please note this point. For loop is not used for general purpose. It is mainly used for iterating for a fixed number of times. Okay, that is the very important point to be noted. Clear? Now let us start with for loop. The for statement is a control flow construct that allows us an action or several actions for each item in an iterable. That is, for each item in an iterable, we are going to do some action or sequence of actions. Okay, maybe you are executing few statements or single statement. That is the idea. That is for each item in an iterable. This is very important statement. For each item in an iterable, we are doing some action. It may be single action or multiple actions. But for each item in the iterable, we are going to do this. Now, what is this iterable, my dear friends? An iterable in Python is any object capable of returning its members one at a time, enabling iteration over its elements. So this iterable can return its members one at a time. Because of that, we can iterate over the elements of this particular iterable. And each iterable has an iterator which actually returns members of iterable one at a time. So it actually happens internally. We will not see this iterator, my dear friend, but internally this is what happens. So this iterator in this particular iterable will return one item at a time. Is that clear? And what are these iterables, my dear friends? All the sequences are iterables. Dictionary is iterable, that is mappings are iterable, sets are also iterable. That is, all the containers which we use are iterable. Okay, we can iterate over their elements. So these iterables are capable of returning its members, of course, by using this iterator one at a time. So one item can be returned by this iterable at a time. Because of that, using the for loop, we can use that item and we can do some actions. That is the basic idea, my dear friends. So iterable, they generally ask what is an iterable. So an iterable is an object or is any object capable of returning its members one at a time. So when one item is returned at a time, you can use that for iteration. So iterable can be used for iterations. That is the idea. Now this is the syntax for loop, my dear friends. Syntax is very important, so please try to understand. We have this for, which is a keyword. Then this item is like a variable, my dear friend. It is an identifier. Okay, we just use this. Actually, this item is like loop control variable. This item can act as an iterator. This item acts as an iterator, or it takes the item returned by the iterable. So iterable returns one item at a time. So each time this item will reference to that particular item. So it is actually the loop control variable here. Okay, so this item, for item in iterable, so here this item is what, sir? It is a variable. Okay, and it is actually the loop control variable. Then in which you use here is also a keyword. So for each item, this is a variable. You can use any identifier here, sir. Generally we can use I, okay, or some other names you can use, no problem. And this is the iterable. This iterable can be a string, it can be a list, it can be a tuple, it can be a set, it can be a dictionary, but different iterables we need to use differently. We learn that. Am I clear? So this iterable is any one which is capable of returning one item at a time. And this is the body of the loop. What action you want to do for each item in that particular iterable. And one very interesting thing is this else part. In this for loop, there is something called else part. Okay, see, actually what happens, sometimes we may exit the loop prematurely by using break statement. Suppose if you are not exiting loop prematurely, then this else part will be executed. Of course, this is optional, it is not compulsory, but this else part will be executed if the loop does not exit prematurely using break statement. Please note that point. Okay, so let us try to understand. The for is keyword, that we understand. Item is the variable which is mainly used as the loop control variable. So this item takes, or it actually reference to the items which are returned by iterable for each iteration. Then in is the keyword. The iterable is an object from which the first statement can take one item at a time. See, this iterable is an object from which the first statement can take one item at a time until no more items remain. And it can be a string, list, tuple, as I mentioned. And colon, see, these are all syntactical things which you need to know, sir. Of course, if you write 2-3 programs, you will understand. This column is compulsory here and this column is also compulsory. Please note that. And he is trying to explain about the body of for loop. Body is a block of one or more statements to be executed for each item in an iterable. The block is technically the part of the first statement. The body is actually technically, you can call it as for block. You can happily call it as for block, my dear friends. If you want, you can just call it as for block. For our understanding, my dear friends. Okay, that can be called as for block without any problem. As a block, all the statements that comprises the block must be indented same number of spaces from the left. See, this indentation is compulsory. This is also syntax. See, here you see, here I had only one statement I written, but if you are having multiple statements, all these statements must be indented, okay, with same number of spaces on the left. This indentation is compulsory, my dear friends. Is that clear? So this is the complete description about the for loop, my dear friends. The else part is optional, and the else block is executed when the loop completes all iterations without encountering a break statement. We try to understand what is this break statement in a while. And the colon after else is must. So these are the syntactical things. This colon is must, this colon is must, this is the keyword, this is also keyword, you cannot change them. This is just a name we are going to use, any valid identifier you can use, and this body must be indented. Body must be indented. Okay, the body must be indented. Even the else block must be, the entire body must be indented. That you need to remember. Is that clear? And of course, as I mentioned, it is already written. Each iterable has an iterator. The first statement uses the iterator behind the scenes to get each consecutive item until there are no more to process. So this iterator actually takes that element written by iterable. Okay, it actually it returns that particular item from iterable. That is the idea. Is that clear? And if you want to understand this elementary story, sir, the flow chart. Assign item to the iterator from the iterable, and you check whether there are more items in the iterable. If it is true, assign next item to the iterator. Am I clear? So body of the loop is executed. And it continues as long as there are more items in the iterable. Okay, we assign an item to the iterable or assign an item to the iterator. Here you can call that item as an iterator, my dear friends. Okay, in the iterable also there will be an iterator, and here this item which you are using, that also can be called as iterator for our understanding. Is that clear? So what happens, this item takes that particular item returned by, or the iterator returned by the iterable, and the loop continues, my dear friends. As long as there are more items to be processed, the loop continues. If there are no more items to be processed, you come out of the loop, and the next statement after the for block is executed. And here one more thing, the else block is not written here. Suppose if a loop works perfectly fine and it does not break prematurely, then else block is also executed, then you go out of the loop. Please note that. See, the else block is executed if the loop does not exit prematurely. Okay, we'll try to understand with examples. We'll try to understand this with example. And actually we can iterate over what? We can iterate over the string. As I told you, the iterable is very important. The iterable can be a string, it can be a list, it can be a tuple, it can be a range, or range function returns range. Okay, range iterable. It can be that. It can be bytes, it can be byte array, it can be like dictionary, it can be set, it can be frozen set also. But as I told you, we are mainly interested in the following important iterables, that is string, list, tuple, range, dictionary, and set. Am I clear? If you understand this, the other iterables also can be discussed in the similar manner. Iterating over the string. Now the name, I use my name only, Sridhar. Okay. Now see, this is the for loop. I want to print each letter of my name or this particular string. Here I am using name. You can write some other string name also, no problem. For is the keyword. I, you can call it as ch, character. It is just a variable, sir, nothing more than that. Any valid identifier you can use. You can write ch, you can write character, you can write I, it does not matter. For ch in name. So in is the keyword, the name is the string, sir, the name of the string. And after this, the colon is compulsory. And the indentation is compulsory. What I want to do is, you can do some activity with that character which is returned. Okay, of course, the single character string you are going to get, sir. Actually, what it returns, sir, the name 0, name 1, name 2, like that. So this ch initially will be assigned what value, sir? Initially ch will be assigned that name 0. That is the first character, like that. Now I want to print this character, sir. Print ch. So let us see what happens. See, each character is printed. So I am directly getting those elements of that particular string or iterable. Each time one element of the iterable is assigned to ch and I am printing ch. Is that clear? I am printing that particular ch. That is the beauty of, Python. It's very, very simple, sir. You don't have to write name 0. Okay, if you want, you can see this, sir. Name 0. What happens? Every time s will be printed. Every time s will be printed. See, if I want, I can do one more thing. I can use something like length. The length of the name, if I use ch in the length, that does not matter, but I can use something called range. Then I can use this ch, sir. Then the same work will happen as earlier. See, it is exactly same as, see, instead of doing this much work, I can directly do name and I can print ch. See how simply I am getting. I'll just show you the difference between this code and the other code which I written. See, this is the simplest way. I can directly get each element of that particular iterable and I can print it. Directly I am accessing. The other way of doing it is what, sir? I need to take the length of this. I need to take the length of the string and range. I need to identify, that is how many elements are there. Over that range, I am iterating. Now I am not iterating over the string. I am iterating over the indices. Here I am iterating over the indices. So length, suppose what is the length of the string, sir? Length of the string is what? 7. So this is exactly same as range 7. I'll just show you. Instead of writing this, if I write range also, it works, sir. Then what happens? I'll just use name ch. That is, how can you access each and every element of that particular string, sir? Using index, you can access each and every element of the string. Okay, because I can use index operator. With all the sequences, I can use index operator. So I can directly use the index operator and I can get the output. See the same output. Look at this code, how simple it is. Look at this code, how difficult it is. Of course, here, instead of writing this, you try this. You try this. Still it works. Sorry. Still it works. You try this, still it works. It is same like, we are iterating over the range. That is, what are the indices? 0 index, 1 index, 2 index. For each index, I am printing the element of that particular string. That also can be done. Is that clear? And see this code, how simple it is. Directly I am accessing the element using this item or using this iterator, you can call it. Okay, using an iterator, I am getting each element of the iterable. So iterable actually can return one member at a time, and that I can store in a temporary variable and I can use in my for loop. That is the basic idea. Is the idea clear? And now you can similarly iterate over a list, iterate over a tuple. Suppose let us take some list, sir. List 1. Let me take something like 34, 56.78. Then you can write Babu. Okay. So this is my list. Now for every element of the list, I can say element. For every element in list 1 column, I am printing the element. I print element. See, here I am using element works like an variable. So element is actually reference to the elements of that iterable. First time element take list 1 0, next time it take list 1 1, next time it takes list 1 2. That is, each element is assigned to this element, and that element we are using in this particular iteration. That is ID. So what happens? It will print the elements, sir. First element is printed, next 56.78 is printed, next Babu is printed. That is ID. Okay. You can also use this, okay, list or tuple. See, instead of list, you can also use a tuple, sir. So let me use a tuple. So same code, I just take it, sir. What is the difference, sir? List is mutable, tuple is immutable. Same story, sir. It does not matter. You can just call it as list 1 or tuple 1. Let us call it as tuple 1. But here also name should be changed accordingly, sir. Am I clear? So what happens? Tuple 1, this is the tuple. For element in tuple 1, we are printing the element. The same thing will happen. Of course, these elements can be different, my dear friends. These elements can be different. You can use the same method as you work with your regular tuple, sir. Am I clear? See, what I am actually doing, sir, instead of writing element I, that is tuple 1 0, tuple 1 1, tuple 1 2, instead of accessing the elements using index, I am directly accessing the elements using a variable. Is it clear? That is possible in Python. Now the range function. Of course, we will be using this very regularly, sir. Strings are also we are going to use regularly, but this idea we need to understand, you need to fix it. Suppose I want to print first 10 natural numbers. So the program may be like, print first 10 natural numbers. So what I need to do, sir? 10 natural numbers means 1 to 10 I want to print. So what I do for I in range. See, you know about range. Okay, here I need to clearly give the range because I need to start at 1. So 1 to, see, range, if I give 11 means up to 10 you are going to use the elements. Okay, so I just take 11 for range 1 to 11. So this range will return the elements. What elements it return? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, one at a time. Is that clear? See, range only stores the starting index and the step. Please note that. Am I clear? Or the end and the step. Now I want to print the numbers. But when you print it, every time when you print, what happens? It will be printing in the next line. For example, if I print directly, what happens? All these numbers are printed in the next line. So here I just use some formatting. At the end, I just want to use some tab character. I can use it so that they are all printed in the same line with a tab. Instead of tab, you can use something else also, no problems. So this is how we can print first 10 natural numbers. See how simple this code is. Okay. And of course, we'll be using this range again and again. Don't worry about it. And you can also iterate over a set. What is a set, sir? Set variable. Okay, it will be within the curly braces. Okay, you can have these elements. Okay, and you can also have some name like Sunil. No problem. So now for element in set variable colon is important. You are just printing element. Okay, so if you want, you can write complete element or you can write anything, sir. Okay, I'm just using ELE. See, all the elements are printed, and we know that it is an unordered set. Set is unordered. Please note that point, my dear friends. Set is unordered. So that order you cannot expect, sir. Okay, respect the order. Then iterating over the dictionary. How to iterate over a dictionary? So let us take a dictionary. So dictionary means we have key value pairs. Okay, so I'm just having some numbers and names. Say Babu. Then second, I have say Sunil. Third, say my name. You can use other names also, no problem. This is my dictionary. Now, if I normally do the iteration, because dictionary is also iterable, but it returns the keys. Dictionary, it returns the keys, sir. So, for example, if you say for, okay, I in dictionary 1, if you print, what happens? These i's are actually the keys. So here we are actually getting these keys. These keys will be printed, my dear friends. That is 1, 2, 3 are printed. Now if you want to print the values, then you have to use dictionary I. Then what happens? The values are printed. That is, oh sorry, this is like, you know, dictionary 1. The name properly used. This is dict1, use that. So the names are printed. Suppose you want both key and value pairs, I and dictionary 1. So what happens? Oh sorry, I comma. So this one Babu. Of course, if you want that colon, then you have to use that colon within the quotes, my dear friends. This can be done. Like, you know, 1 Babu, 2 Sunil, 3 Sridhar. Formatting need to be done carefully. Suppose if you want capital S here, you can use that. That's it. So here with the dictionary, the iterable returns the keys. Using the keys, you can access the values. Please note that. Am I clear? So this is about, you know, using for loop to access elements of a iterable. Am I clear? So that is the idea. So now let us see the story multiplication table. So earlier we said, now I want multiplication table of 5. How I can use this for loop to get the multiplication table of 5. So here 5 is fixed. So what I need to do for I in range 1 to 11. I in range 1 to 11. What I need to print, sir? 5 into I is equal to 5 into I, where I should vary from 1 to 10. So what I do? Print F string I am using. So 5 into, so this is going to change. So I'll keep it in the braces. 5 into I is equal to, again I keep this product also in the braces. 5 into I. Of course, you want some spaces here, you can use that. Here also you want some space, you can use. Suppose you want tab character, that also can be done, my dear friends. Am I clear? So what happens, you see, I got the table proper. I got this 5 table proper. Okay. Suppose you want 6 table instead of 5, you use 6, you get 6 table. Of course, here, okay, it works. 6 table you got. You got 10 table, it works. Of course, there may be some formatting issues. You need to take care of that while in the formatting, my dear friends. So whatever way you formatted, that way it is printed. So you can get the multiplication table very, very easy. How simple it is. Is the idea clear? Okay. Now the loops can be nested also. For loop can be nested. For example, I want to print multiplication table of 1 to 10. So then what I need to do? For example, multiplication table from 1 to, let us say 5, you can make it as 10 also. That is, here if you observe, we are doing it for 5 table. Then you can change 5 to 6, you get 6 table. So instead of writing 5, 6 and so on, you can use one more variable or one more counter variable, okay, to change this number. Okay, so here we need two variables. One variable to change that number, multiplication table of what number you want. For that we need one variable. That is, for example, I variable take care of multiplication table of I, and the j variable take care of once, twice, thrice, and so on. Is that clear? So what I am going to do is, for I, because I want multiplication table from 1 to 5. So what range I need to take, sir? 1 to 6 I need to take, because 5 means 6 minus 1, because range will return end minus 1. Start to end minus 1 values it is going to return. And so here for 1 you get 1 table, for 2 you are going to get 2 table. That is, this is what exactly you are going to do. Okay, see what actually you are doing, you are going to print nothing, sir. And you see this one, for each I you want print multiplication table of I. So here you can just copy paste this. You can just copy paste this. For each I you want multiplication table, you just copy paste this. But this to be with indentation, of course. But here I already used, so you should change it as J, my dear friend. You should change it as J, my dear friends. That is same multiplication table. Same multiplication table you are doing within a loop. So within this loop you are repeating this work. Within this loop you are repeating this work. Am I clear? So it is repeated for 1, it is repeated for 2, it is repeated for 3, it is repeated for 4, it is repeated for 5. And what you are going to get, sir? You see, of course, what happened? Oh, I made a blunder here, because you fixed it as 10 now. Every time it is getting 10, but we need a general variable, I variable here. So you write I here, and here also you write I here, because I is now the general variable. So that need to be kept in braces. This is fine. So let us see what happens. So 1 table I got it. So for I is equal to 1, I got 1 table. For I is equal to 2, I got 2 table. And for I is equal to 3, of course, it is a scrollable element, you will get that. You can also get this, I'll just show you. You can try printing, people try this also, sir. They want this kind of table. 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, you can write up to 10, up to 20 also. So one table is this one. Then 2 table is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, like that. You can try this also. Okay. So I just want everyone to try this, and either in the comment box you can paste that particular code, or you can, okay, CS_Sridhar is my Telegram group. In that you can send your output, my dear friends. Please try this. It's very interesting. I want output like this. I want this output. I'll just give you the hint. Sometimes I start with hint and I'll give the entire code also, but please be careful. Okay. So what I want you to do is, you can first print so you can have a tab character first, then you can have that line, then tab character, then you can have 1 tab character, 2 tab character, like that. So let me just write down this, fellows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Between them I just keep this tab character, sir. It is just I am printing like that. Because I want the table, na? So it is all about formatting, nothing more than that, sir. Okay. After this also you want, you can keep it. So this is what it is printed. See, you see what I asked? This one. There's a space, 1 to 10 is printed here. Then below that I want that line. Okay, that also can be printed. So here this is tab, and this 1, 2, 3 and so on are there. No, here I just want this underscore or underline. Okay, that line to be printed. So I just use this up to the same length so that it will be printed, my dear friends. Of course I don't. Okay, we need this. So let us see what happens. You see this? maybe this is not required here. Let me remove this. Let us see. Am I clear? Or you may require it from here. So this is it. It's like, this line. I mean, this line is printed as it is. And from here onwards, it is printing the multiplication table, nothing more than that. Here you are printing only the values, sir. So the same multiplication table, my dear friends. Okay. For rows in range, what range you want? 1 to 11. Okay. What you are going to do? Every time what you need to start, sir, you need to start with a tab and a line. Then the values need to be printed. So that I am keeping every time in the beginning. I keep a tab and this line followed by a tab. Okay, then I want to start printing the products. So for J in columns, you want columns, you can write completely, or COL I use. Okay. In range, what columns you want? 1 to 11. So what you need to do is you need to find the product. You just need the product only now. What is the product, sir? Product is row into column. Okay, here I use row. Let me use row and column. So now I want to print that. How I want to print it, sir? I want to print it like, what way I want to print? Okay, maybe I can use F string here. I just want the product here. This is the product. Then a tab character. And at the end, I need a tab character because every value is separated by a tab character. End is equal to a tab character. Okay. So what happens now? These values are printed, and after completing, you should go to the next line. So for that, I just use a print statement. Automatically, you go to the next line. So let us see what is the output. Or maybe something. Oh, call. Okay. Oh, sorry. I use J, no, Y column then. Okay, sorry. This is a different variable I use. It is saying sorry. Row and column. Product is row into column. Row. See. You see, you get the output, and here this. See, these values are printed properly, but if you want more, you just need to take care of that, formatting, sir. Output, you got it, but formatting you need to take care, because you want these values to be like, these values are printed from left. You want it on the right side. Okay. So maybe every time you printed some nonsense here, that's why it is gone wrong. I think we should print every time after this, na? Why it is started printing from here? Because product must start printing from next line, no? It is obviously you're going to next line, but why it started print? Oh, it is going to the next line every time. And I should say space or tab, maybe tab, then it will come in the same line. Yeah, you see, maybe this arrangement, this formatting is little wide. I think I got extra tab characters, sir. This tab I don't need. Okay, this tab I remove it. Now I got better. Okay, maybe this I need more. See, it's all about formatting, nothing more than that. Okay, you can just do this little more so that you can accommodate all underscores. Is that clear? All of you able to follow? So I got the table, sir. But here also I need to print numbers, na? Here also I need to print numbers, na, before this. So here I can do one thing, sir. I can just print row. I can just print, I can make it as F string. I can print row, because we should know what number multiplication you are doing it. Am I clear? So we should know that. So here one table it is, 2 table it is, 3 table it is, like that. You got 10 table. You want more, you can do it, sir. Is that clear? Of course, for that you require little formatting, my dear friend, nothing more than that. Is the idea clear? Hope you understand. Okay. And now let us talk about some special statement like pass statement. See, the pass statement in Python is a null operation, meaning it does nothing. So if you use this pass statement, it do nothing, sir. It can be used anywhere in your program, my dear friend. See, sometimes what happen, maybe you start writing this for loop, maybe you start writing this for loop, okay, you start writing this particular for loop, okay, and you don't know what to be written here. In such cases, you start with a pass. Okay, for example, that code you not yet understood, like, formatting you are thinking, like, you are not getting as expected. Maybe, for I in range 1 to 11, when I say pass, so this part I want to write something that can be postponed later. Am I clear? So when I say pass means it will not do anything. Generally this pass is used, for filling later on, or you have some idea which is not complete, the logic is not completely finalized. You are going to write that particular code later on. For such purposes they use it. You can use anywhere in your program, my dear friends. You can use anywhere in your program. It will just do nothing. That pass statement will pass. So when I do this one, what happens? It will do nothing. So if I print, I used pass statement. So what happens? It will print that. It will do nothing. Okay, here also you can use. Within this also you can say print pass, will do nothing. So what happens every time this statement pass, nothing to do, but this one will be printed. This part will be printed. Pass means that part, no work to do. No work to do. Please note that. Okay, like that. Next comes continue statement. So the continue statement in Python is used to skip the rest of the code block within a loop for the current iteration and proceed to the next iteration. See, please note, only in the current iteration remaining work is ignored and you go to the next iteration, my dear friends. See, generally these are used. For example, I want to print only even numbers, or I want to print only odd numbers. For example, I want to print only odd numbers, say from 1 to 20. Okay, suppose print odd numbers from 1 to 20. So in this case, what happens? For I in range, I am going to take from 1 to 21, because unto 20 means up to 21 I am going to take. 21 will not be considered. So range will return only 1 to 20 numbers only. Now I want to print only odd numbers. So if at all the number which I got percentile 2 is 0, what I should do? I should not do anything. Continue means the remaining work or the remaining remaining statements are ignored and we start with the next iteration of the loop. We start with the next iteration of the loop in this particular case. Otherwise, what you are going to do? You are going to print that particular number. You are going to print that particular number. At the end, you can just keep, space or something, or tab, let us keep. So what happens? It will print only odd numbers. It will print only odd numbers. 1. See, 1 you enter, 1 is not even. Okay, so when it is 1 is odd, 1 get printed. Next 2 is even, means what? Remaining part is ignored and you start with the fresh iteration. So remaining statements are ignored and you start with the fresh iteration, my dear friends. That is what continue will do. Is the idea clear? So what continue will do, sir? The continue statement the continue statement is used to skip the rest of the code block within the loop for current iteration. Only for the current iteration, rest of the work is ignored. And you start with the fresh iteration. You are not going to come out of the loop, my dear friends. You are not going to come out of the loop. And here one very interesting thing is, if I use else, what happens? If I use else, what happens? It is printed or not printed? Is this print statement executed or not executed? See, my dear friend, continue, just okay, skip the remaining iterations, but you are not coming out of the loop prematurely. You are not coming out of the loop prematurely. So obviously this also get printed, my dear friend. This also get printed. So it is printed. This also get printed, my dear friends. Please note that. Continue, just skip the remaining statements and start a fresh iteration of the loop. But the most interesting and important statement is break statement. This is very important. The break statement in Python, is used to exit or terminate a loop prematurely before its normal completion. So you just come out of the loop. You just come out of the loop. And whenever you use else, for else loop, and there is a break in the first statement, the else part is ignored. Okay, that I not mentioned here, sir. Please note that. I think I mentioned here that else part I written separately. Here I mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned that. You remember? See, this one here I mentioned. The else block is executed when the loop completes all iterations without encountering a break statement. So what I do is I'll just take it and write once again so that it will be in a proper order. So let me rewrite here. With the break statement, even this is important point to be noted. What is the point to be noted? The else block is executed when the loop completes all iterations without encountering a break statement. Suppose if break statement is encountered, the else block is not executed. Okay, so the else block is not executed when the loop terminates with a break statement. The else block is not executed when the loop terminates with a break statement. Please note this point. Okay, and if the break statement is used in a nested loop, this is very important. Suppose if you use in a nested loop, only the inner loop you are going to come out. It is not going to terminate all the loops, sir. Only the innermost loop in which the break is there, that part you are going to come out. For example, if I have a for loop, okay, some statement, and this is the body, then again you have for loop, okay, then it is having a body, then you have a for loop, then it is having a body, and suppose there is a break. See, with this break, this for loop we are going to terminate. Okay, suppose there are some statements after this. After this, the loop, the control will go to the next statement after this for loop. So within what for loop the break statement is found, only that particular for statement is exited prematurely. Not all the for loops, my dear friends. Only the for loop within which the break statement is found. So the break statement only exit that particular for loop. Please note this point. If you want, you can just take one example here, sir. Maybe our product multiplication table, you can take it. Multiplication table, you are only printing product of even numbers, okay, or you want to print only multiplication tables of even numbers. Okay, you want to print multiplication table of even numbers. Print multiplication table of even numbers. Okay, you can just take this code. Why to write working once again? Let me take this beautiful code we written. Okay, let us do this multiplication table of even numbers. Okay, here what I'm going to do, sir, here I just write if, okay, because the row defines the multiplication table of row means that you know, for what number you are finding multiplication table. If row is row percentile 2 is not equal to 0, okay, then what you are going to do, sir? You are going to break. So what I am doing, sir? If row percentile 2 is not 0, that means if it is odd number, what I am doing? I am doing break. Means I am not going to print the multiplication table of that. Let us see what happens. Okay, somewhere semicolon, I'm sorry, colon is expected. That is a syntax error. So here what happened? Of course, this is unfortunate because you know you written this is not printed. Only 2 is printed, 4 is printed, 6 is printed, 8 is printed, and 10 is printed. Suppose you don't want this also to be printed, you need to rewrite the code set. So that is homework for you. That's a formatting thing. You need to take care of it. Is that clear? So we are going to only come out of this inner loop. We are not going to exit from all the loops, my dear friend. Only the inner loop you are going to come out. Please note this point. Is that clear? And one more thing, let me take this code. Let me take this code. Instead of using continue, if I use break, what happens in this? If I use break, what happens? So what it will do, sir, it will print 1, then it will come out of the loop, and else part is not printed at all. You see this, only 1 is printed. Only 1 is printed. Suppose if I say I percentile 5 is equal to 0. 1, 2, 3, 4 are printed, 5 is not printed. 1, 2, 3, 4 are printed, 5 is not printed. Suppose if you say continue, the multiples of 5 are skipped. The multiples of 5 are skipped, my dear friends. The remaining things are printed, and even this else part get executed. See, whenever you come out of the loop, because of the break, else part will not be executed. Please note this important point, my dear friends. Okay, so that is about for loop. So now we start with the next one, which is while loop. See, the while loop repeatedly executes a block of code as long as a condition remains true. So here, what makes the loop going on? The condition. So here condition control loop, whereas for loop is iterator controlled loops. Okay, so iterable is compulsory for loop. Here there is no need of any iterable, my dear friends. For while loop to work, we don't need any iterable. Of course, you can work with iterable, no problem, but works with condition. So it is condition controlled loop. Condition controlled loop. With a condition, the loop is repeated as long as that particular condition is true. See, here true means, see, if it is a Boolean expression, the value should be true. Suppose you are having for non-Boolean expressions also truth values, because string, when it is truth or when it is true, sir, if it is a non-empty string, it is true. Empty string, then it is false. Please note that. See, if it is a Boolean one, true, as long as the condition is true, the loop repeats. If the condition is false, we exit the loop, my dear friends. If it is a non-Boolean value as the condition, depending on the truth value. Okay, for example, string, empty string is considered as false, non-empty string is considered as true. If it is a number, non-zero number is considered as true, 0 is considered as false. If it is a list, empty list is considered as false, non-empty list is considered as true. Please note that. And this is the syntax of while loop, Babu. Sorry for that. the syntax of while loop. So it's very simple syntax, Babu. While the condition, generally the condition is kind of Boolean expression. It returns true or false. Am I clear? And this colon is compulsory, and you are having this while block with indentation. All the statements within that while block must be with indentation, same indentation. Then the else block is optional. Else block is optional. Colon after else is compulsory, and this is else block. And when else block get executed, Babu, same story. If the while loop does not exit prematurely, then only the else block is executed. Suppose if you exit while loop with a break statement, else block will not be executed. Please note this, my dear friends. Of course, here everything is mentioned. While is a keyword that you know. Condition is a Boolean expression generally, or it returns a Boolean value. Colon is must, and while block. So this is the point. While block is a block of one or more statements to be executed as long as the condition is true. The block is technically the part of while statement. As a block, all the statement that comprises the block must be indentation. There must be indentation followed strictly. And else is optional. The else part here is optional, my dear friends. The else part is optional. And the else part is executed when the loop completes all iterations without encountering a break statement. If there is no break statement, the else block is completely executed. If there is a break statement and because of that you are coming out of while block, the else part is ignored. Please note that. And colon must follow else. After else also colon is must. That is syntactical part, sir. Please note that. And this is your, what you call flow chart. Okay, initialization generally happens before the loop and the condition. If the condition is true, body of the loop is executed and it is repeated as long as the condition is true, the body of the loop is repeated. If it is false, next statement or else part. And else part is executed only, there is no break statement or the loop does not exit prematurely. Please note that. Of course, this is a general point. A while is generally better suited for situations where the number of iterations is not known in advance or where the loop termination condition is more complex and can be easily expressed using a cannot be easily expressed using a counter or a fixed range. Okay. See, generally if the condition depends on or condition is can be obtained at runtime, the condition becomes true or false at runtime. In such situations, you use while loop. If you know number of iterations, it is fixed, it is better to go for loop, my dear friends. Am I clear? Because with for loop, we can use range function. Suppose I want to repeat it 10 times. Okay, each time what activity I need to know, I know it. I can use a range function. Range 11 I can use, so the range 10 I can use. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So 10 times the loop can be repeated. Okay. Suppose based on a condition I need to do some activity, for loop cannot work in such situations. It is better to go for while. So generally what they say, while loop is better for situations where the number of iterations not known in advance and where the loop termination condition is more complex. In such situations, it is better to go for while loop. Okay. So let me take two simple programs here. Let me explain. Then I'll give you the two simple programs. Print the sum of digits of a number. Print the reverse of a number. So let me take this. Let me explain. Then we'll go for code of this. And before that, let me explain one important point. Here we are having two important operators. Okay. We know one is called floor division. The other one is modulus operator. Modulus operator. But these operators with 10 works beautifully. Suppose n is an integer, positive integer. And if I do n floor division 10, what happens? N percentile 10, what happens? This is very, very important point to be noted, my dear friends. This is very important point. Let me explain that before this. For example, you take any number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, big number, and if you do floor division 10, so when you divide with 10, what happens? The last digit is gone and you are going to get 2, 3, 4, 5 as the result. You can just check. So whenever you do floor division by 10, the last digit is removed from the number. Am I clear? Because divide by 10 means what, sir? 2, 3, 4, 5, 0.6 you are going to get. But with floor division, that 0.6 is gone. That is simple logic. Now if I do percentile 10, what happens? If I do percentile 10, what happens? If I do percentile 10, that 6 remainder we are going to get. The digit, last digit you are going to get. So if you want to get the last digit, you use percentile 10. If you want to remove the last digit from the number, you do floor division with 10. So these two can do wonders, and many programs we can write using these two operators, my dear friends. One is floor division with 10 and the other one is percentile with 10. So when I do n floor division 10, okay, the last digit is removed. And when I do n percentile 10, it gives last digit. See, in programs like where you need to find sum of digits, where you want to reverse the number, or where you want to print the number or print the digits, in such cases, you are going to use these two, okay? These two expressions, or floor division by 10 and percentile 10, my dear friends. These are very, very interesting thing. So let me take the first program, that is finding sum of digits of a number. Sum of digits of a number. So let me explain this idea, then we write a code for this. For example, if you are having 3, 2, 4, 6 as your number, I want sum of digits. Which fellow or which operator can give me digits? Just now we seen with percentile 10, I can get the digit and I can use those digits. Then the digit which I obtained, I need to remove from the number. Then I can use floor division with 10. Okay. So let me call this as my number, initial number. Okay. And I call digit, which I need to find. Initially, I don't have any digit. Then I need sum. Sum is also initially 0 because I need to find sum of digits. Am I clear? Now what I need to do? I just take this n, which is also num. That is, initially this is number. This is 3, 2, 4, 6. Original number I don't want to destroy, sir. Because of that, I am using another variable which is also reference, same thing. So whenever I do modification, that I assign it to n. The modifications are assigned to n. N is the modified number, where num is the original number. This is the modified number. That is, after doing some operations on that number, I get a different number. Now after removing last digit, I get a number. So that n is used for that purpose. Am I clear? And as long as this number is there, that is, after modification also, if the number is there, I need to continue the operations. Okay. So as long as this n is not 0 or greater than 0, I need to repeat this. See, the logic is very simple, sir. When I have 3, 2, 4, 6, first time I do percentile 10, what I get? 6. That I call it as digit. That I call it as digit. So what is digit, Babu? The digit is n percentile 10. And that digit I need to add to what? I got this. So I need to update my sum. So sum, I am going to add this digit. To sum, I am going to add this digit. So now what happens to your sum, sir? Originally it is 0. 0 plus 6. Now the sum is 6. Now, because I already used the last digit, I need to remove the last digit. So for that, what I need to do? I need to do 3, 2, 4, 6 floor division with not 6 with 10. You will get 3, 2, 4, and this is my new number. So I update my n as n floor division 10. So this is my new number. Now I need to repeat this process. The same process I need to repeat. Now I got 3 to 4. Again I do 3 to 4 percentile 10. I get 4. That 4 I need to add to my sum. So what is my sum? Already it is 6. To this I am going to add 4. Then again what I need to do? 3 to 4 floor division 10 will give me 32. So this I need to repeat, my dear friends. So what happened? Every time I get one digit and that digit is added to my sum. So now it is 6 plus 4. Next step what happens? 2 is added. Next step what happens? 3 is added. We are going to get 6 plus 4 10, 10 plus 2 12, 12 plus 3 15. I am going to get sum of the numbers. I am going to get sum of the digits of the number. Am I clear? I am going to get sum of digits of the number. Is the idea clear? So that is the logic, sir. After that you can print the sum. So that is the code. Let us try to write down, sir. Here please remember, this gives me the last digit, and this also let us remember, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 floor division with 10 gives me what? It gives me the number in which last digit is removed. Am I clear? So now let us do this. Here I am directly using the number, sir. If you want, you can take input also, that you can do it later. Let me take this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 only. You want any other number also, you can take, sir, no problem. We'll keep on changing that. And what I need to do? I need to update my digit, which is 0. Sum also equal to 0. Right? And now let us take n is equal to num. N is equal to num. So what I need to do, sir? As long as this n is greater than 0, you need to repeat. What all I need to do, sir? First I need to find current digit, which is nothing but n percentile 10. I got digit. Once I got digit, I need to add it to sum. Sum is equal to sum plus, or directly I can use this, compound assignment operator. Or you want, write down normally, like sum is equal to sum plus the digit which is obtained. Please be careful. Then the number need to be updated. So what is the number now? N floor division with 10. And it is repeated. Once you come out of this, you print sum. So that is the story, my dear friends. So here what is the sum? 5 plus 5, 10, 14, 20 is the answer. You can see 20 is the answer. Sum of digits of the numbers. Sum of digits of a number. Am I clear? So that is the idea, my dear friends. If you are having any doubts, you can ask. Am I clear? Now reverse the number. Shall we write the logic for reversing a number, sir? Reversing a number. You already know digits. That digits we have to use it. Am I clear? Please note, okay, suppose you are having, 2-digit number, 23. How can you write this 23, sir, actually? This is actually, units, tens place. This is units place, it is tens place. So actually this 23 is nothing but 2 into 10 plus 3. So whenever you get a digit, okay, if it is only single digit, 6 is the answer. But if you are getting next digit, because in the reversing what happens, suppose you have 2, 3, 4, 6. First time 6 you got it, fine. But after next time when you repeat it, you get next digit as 4. Because with the operations like, n floor division 10, you got 234, percentile you get 4. Now 6 becomes first digit and the second digit. So this fellow's place value changes. So whenever a new digit comes, this current number whatever is there, that you multiply with a 10, so that the place values changes for that number. So initially 6 you keep it. Now once you get the 4, what you need to do? You need to multiply this 6 with 10 so that it is tens position, then 4 in the units position. So this number becomes 64. So in the 64, this is units and this is tens position. Now next time when you do this, percentile 10 with 23, you get 3. Now 3 should go to the units place, means the previous two numbers should move to the next positions. That is, 4 should go to the 10th position and 6 should go to the 100th position. But directly when you multiply this with 10, what happens? You get 640. See what happened? Automatically it moved to the 10th place and it moved to the 100th place. So whenever a number is multiplied with 10, all the digits will move one position to the left. That is, 10th position changes to 100th position, 100th position changes to 1000th position, 1000th position changes to 10,000th positions, and so on. So whenever a number is multiplied with 10, all its digits place moves to the left. Am I clear? So that is the logic we are using. That is the logic for reversing a number, my dear friends. Okay. So let us write down the code for this reversing a number. Reverse a number. Same number. You take whatever number. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 6, or whatever it is. You can take any other number, sir. I am just explaining with this 2, 3, 4, 6. You can take any other number, no problem. So here what you need? Digit you need. And you need reverse. It's not some reverse you need. Reverse also 0. N updated number. As long as n is greater than 0, you have to repeat it. So first you have to find digit. How to find digit, Babu? This n percentile 10 will give you digit. So once you get the digit, the reverse you multiply with 10, so that every number or every digit will move to one place left, and this digit can be added to the unit place. So what I need to do? Reverse is reverse whatever current reverse is there, that you multiply with 10 and digit need to be added, so that digit takes the units place. Because when you multiply with 10, what happens? The units place will be 0. The digit, when you add, digits takes units place. That is the idea. Now you got it. Then what you need to do? You need to update this n, which is n floor 10, and repeat it. And after that you can print reverse. That is the story. So let us write this code and get the answer. So let us take number. See, if you want, you can get this input also, sir. This number you can get input also. You can try that also. Input, enter a positive integer. That you can take, sir. And what happens? You can do some evaluate also. Okay. Because whatever you enter, that will be taken as a string. So you have to use evaluate function, so that it will be converted to the integer part. Is that clear? Then what we need to have, sir? We need to have a digit, which is 0. The reverse number, which is initially 0. Then n, this is the updated numbers. So what we are going to do, sir? As long as this n is positive, I have to repeat it. What I need to do? First find digit. How to find digit, Babu? N percentile 10. Then reverse, you multiply with 10, so that every digit moves one position left, and in the units position you add digit. Then you have to update number n, because n is the updated number. N you have to divide with 10. It is the floor division. That is the work we are doing, sir. After completing, you can print the number. Not number, sir, reverse. You want, you can say reverse of the number is this. Like that also you can print. You want, you can do that also, sir. Reverse of number is reverse. Like that you can print. That's all formatting, my dear friend, nothing more than that. So let us run and enter the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and see what happens. So what happens, sir? Reverse of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. That is it. Okay. So we conclude today's session with this particular program. What is the output of the following code? Okay. So if you are watching later, I want you to try this, okay, and give your answer, okay. Otherwise I'll wait for some more time so that you can try your answer and give me here. What is the output of this code? Actually, this code is very interesting in C language, because in C language, without the block, actually in C language, what happens? In C language, if you suppose you are having a while or a for loop or any if block or any block, the block must have this curly braces. That is the block must be within the curly braces. But if it is a single statement, this curly braces can be ignored. If it is a single statement, the curly braces can be ignored. So this is actually very interesting program in C language. But I given same program here, okay. Let us see whether you can identify the output for this or not, okay. Actually, the code which is expected in C language is, okay, different, and in Python, this one is different from this one. This code is different from this code, because only A is inside and B is outside here. Am I clear? But if I do this with indentation, both are inside the while. In C language, this or this, one and the same. Actually, this printf also has a different effect, my dear friends. Printf also has a different effect actually. So in C language, the same problem, it was a gate question. So I just modified that for Python programming. Okay. So if you have any doubt, please go through it. Let us see what is the output for this Babu. Let us identify. A into B, 6 into 4, 24. True, non-zero, true, you enter. A, B are printed. A, B means 6, 4 printed first time. 6, 4 printed. Then A is floor division with 2. Floor division with 2 means 3 you are going to get. A becomes 3. B percentile 3. 4 percentile 3 means you are going to get 1. And 3 into 1 is 3, which is non-zero. So again what happened? 3, 1 is printed. Again you enter, that is again A value is 3 floor division with 2, you get 1. And B value already 1 percentile 3. What happens? 1 percentile 3 is again 1, because 1 percentile 3 is not 0. Am I clear? 1 percentile 3 is 1. Then it is again 1, but 1 percentile 2, 1 floor division with 2 will give you 0. And again it is 1 percentile 1, you are going to get 1, sir. Am I clear? So this is what going to happen. Next time it is 0, you are going to come out. So actually it is going to print 6, 4, 3, 1, 1, 1. So this is the output, my dear friends, for this program. Am I clear? So let me just execute and show you what is the output for this code. So what is expected output? Let me write here. First time A is 6, B is 4. I think I should keep some space between them, so that the space you are going to get, and end also I want to keep a space. Am I clear? So first time 6, 4 printed. Next this A value changes to what, sir? A value 6 by 2 means it changes to 3, and 4 percentile 3 means it changes to 1. Next 3 into 1 is non-zero. Next time 3 and 1 are printed. Then 3 floor division 2. 3 floor division 2 means 1, and 1 percentile 3 is 1 only. So next time 1 into 1 is non-zero. So again 1 and 1 are printed. 1 and 1 are printed. Now next time A is what happened? 1 floor division 2 becomes 0. And B 1 percentile 3, it is again 1, but 0 into 1 is 0. You come out of the loop. So before coming out of the loop, this is what is executed, and that is the output, my dear friends. So what is the output? 6, 4, 3, 1, 1. Okay. So this is about your loops. Of course, we can explore, like, people explore, like, getting different patterns. Okay, they try to print different patterns. So those type of programs I try to give like shorts or different times. I'm going to execute those programs, my dear friends, because overall concepts we are trying to understand. So this is the story about your iterative statements. Okay, so control flows completed. Then we need to start with functions. Okay, and of course after completing functions, then we need to understand some basic concepts of like oops concepts also. And again we need to revisit all these built-in data structures like strings, list, tuple, dictionary, set. We need to revisit because there are some important functions which need to be understood. But one thing which I can tell, if you are preparing for GATE, what all we discussed so far and functions, if you understand, that would be more than enough, my dear friends. You are ready for GATE examination. There may be few functions which we need to know, that anyhow we can practice sessions, we know those functions, that would be sufficient. But if you are preparing for some competitive examination, learning Python, this is not sufficient. But for GATE point of view, mainly they want to know basic syntax of Python. They don't expect you to know all the the discussion about different methods which are used with built-in data structures and all. Generally they are not very much interested in that, my dear friends. Okay, so after control flows, we can directly start with functions. There we can discuss like recursive functions, different concepts. Now mainly we are interested in writing programs for different problems. Am I clear? And one more interesting thing which I want you to understand is at least basic concept of OOPS, how to create a data type, okay, using classes and all that we need to understand. Okay, so after functions we try to discuss that particular concept like classes, the basic concepts of OOPS concepts we try to discuss. Okay, then we move on to discussing about the strings, the built-in data structures in more detailed manner. Okay, so that's all for today. In the next time we start with the next topic in Python. That's all for today. Thank you.